Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome to another episode. 135. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 135 weeks in a row coming to you guys, mostly on Wednesdays or a couple other days, but doing this show. We have made some changes, as everybody knows. We do the wrestling shows, man, and it really is a lot of fun. So keep going ahead and coming back. We'd love to go ahead and have you on here. Speaking of wrestling, this week or over the past, last Thursday, in my opinion, and to me, if you
Big
can't
John.
separate the real person from the character,
Happy
that's your
birthday.
fault. I'm not going to apologize for my fandom of one Hulk Hogan who passed away. And the funny thing is you hear the wrestlers. Triple H had a great thing to say. Like none of them would be here. Well, guess what? We wouldn't be doing this show if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan either.
True.
There's no way we would be doing this show if he was here. So I'd like to take a moment, give a 10 bell salute to the immortal Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania will never die. All righty.
Now, where's his theme song? We need his theme song now.
I'll wind up getting a strike.
You want to know something awesome about his theme song? Whenever I got married, Irene and I actually entered the chapel to her to Hulk Hogan's theme music.
Nice.
Which one? All the American Hero or
Real American?
Real American.
Yeah.
I never knew that was Rick Derringer that sung that song originally.
Yeah. It was funny. People were saying, they were talking in the chat. They were saying,
What's up, Logan?
Hey, Logan, how you doing? What was your favorite, one? And I go, it depends. If you love black and white Hogan, then it's Voodoo Child. I mean, it's just no way, right? If you're a red and yellow guy, you love Real American. Or if you're like me, you love both of them.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. 'Cause I'm an '80s baby, so I grew up on Hulkster, like both eras.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Dommy?
Dom, you're not here again? Why are you not live with us, buddy?
I think when you look at it, I mean, it's amazing what you think about. He carried the '80s and he carried the '90s. It's interesting.
That's not good. So Tony taking off the mound.
Yeah. Taken off the mound by the trainers. They said he threw 2 fastballs that were like wild pitches, and then he was yanked.
It would be awesome if he just needs glasses like Ricky Wildcat.
Gets up there with the Wild Thing Vaughn glasses on.
That would be pretty awesome.
So hey, big weekend coming up. This is the first 2-night SummerSlam. What do you guys, before we get into this, what do you guys think about SummerSlam going to 2 nights?
Honestly, I hate the 2-night format because like it makes it harder to go and like watch pay-per-views with friends because like who has 2 nights as an adult to like go spend with somebody? But I mean, it's cool there's more wrestling, but I mean the show's not that strong that they couldn't just put it on one night, in my opinion.
I think it's just a money grab. It's to grab more money. You can sell out 2 shows instead of 1.
Well, Larkin,
You're going to find out tonight.
good thing you're here. You'll see. I mean, I don't. This one, I will give them some credit for. I don't think we have a lot of full matches or fill matches, I should say, right? Like I don't think they have. I don't think they have. Like when we had that, with WrestleMania, they just seemed like they had too many fill matches that like they weren't WrestleMania worthy. I think, here, they have matches that are at least, bigger PLE, worthy. A lot of championship matches and stuff like that. What do you guys think about before we get going, what about the another announcement that the WWE has partnered with Fandango, not the wrestler, but the movie ticket place to show the PLEs in certain Regal movie theaters. Would you attend one of those?
I had to say no.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you could just as easily watch it at home. It would be kind of cool to experience it, but probably not.
I mean,
maybe if you had a legend or 2 show up at each theater, maybe
that would be cool.
But that would be the only way it would entice me to go.
Or
so I know I looked at
like
it
community based. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
where it's not just a dude coming and sitting in a chair by himself. You know what I mean? It's like more like fan event oriented.
Yep. I looked at it by me, and there are, I think, 4 Regal theaters that are having it, and it was $25 a ticket, so it actually was less money than I thought it would be. But I'm sitting there and I'm going, part of it is the announcing also.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if you're in a movie theater and let's say, I don't know, let's say what, a theater seats 150 people?
Give or take, yeah.
So you have 150 people there. Are they going to be quiet? And is that place going to be quiet enough where you can hear the announcing? Or are they going to have to crank up the friggin' announcing, the volume so loud to where, your ears start to bleed? So that's the only reason why it'd
be cool to see it on the big old screen like that. But I mean, other than that, really, there's no appeal to me to go see that.
Right.
When I would just, like I said, to Peacock.
Yeah.
It's like a tenth of the price.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's why, plus you would have to buy concessions. They're not letting you, bring, coolers in, stuff like that and everything, so.
Larkin, where are you going that it's only $30?
Well, it was 20
popcorn and a drink.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. But like I said, I don't know. But again, it's another one of those, grabs and stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to really. I'd love to see what not only the attendance, but what the feeling is of the people that go. Like what was their thought process on it, right? As everybody in the theater is screaming and you can't hear Michael Cole or whoever else might, Wade Barrett or whoever else might be announcing with them.
I'd like to see the attendance records of each theater to see if they sell out any of them.
Yeah. I don't know. So a lot of things happening with wrestling. A lot of things. But all right. So SummerSlam. So what do we have here? So night 1 has been announced of 6. So it's 6 matches each night.
Is this exactly the way they're going?
No, this is not in any particular order. This is just when I was looking them up and everything, I just put them down, that way. I have no idea. I don't think this is the order because I have a funny feeling. Well, I want to get to that. So, Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross, Orton and Jelly Roll against McIntyre and Logan Paul, which is setting up, I think, for a triple threat of Jelly Roll, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast or Speed one day. Women's tag, the Judgment Day against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. We have the Tribal Chief and Jey Uso against the Bronze, as Roman said, Breaker and Reed. Women's Championship of Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. And the championship, Gunther versus CM Punk. Did Drew make it back in the country? Yeah, as I haven't heard anything yet. I mean, he still has time.
The last post I saw from him, he was on a plane, so I don't know.
Okay,
if they're going to still do that, or if they're going to actually, since they injected that whole Miz theory into it.
Yeah. So, looking at this, how do you think they would lay this out? Do you think, I got to believe they would give Gunther and CM Punk the close.
I keep the last two the same.
I would.
I think you had the Randy Jelly Roll one first to kind of get the crowd a pop with Jelly Roll and Orton and Logan Paul. Then maybe the Sami Zayn, then Roman, then the tag team, and then the last two stay the same.
Yeah. Anthony, what do you think?
I could be something similar, but I'd probably say put the women first just because they need something to start the show off hot.
The tag or the championship?
The championship. Normally they have something like that start off like a big match.
That's true. Because it's going to be a longer match because that's a street fight, isn't it?
I think so.
Which one?
The Tiffany Stratton Jade Cargill, isn't it?
No.
Isn't it?
I thought it was.
No. No, the only street match is the Cody and Cena.
Oh, okay.
That's unless it's been turned into that. What I looked at, it wasn't.
Okay.
See, I thought, and I don't know if you would want to waste them. I'm not sure what you would want to do, but something makes me think that the Tribal Chief Jey Uso against the Bronze could be the first one.
That'd be cool.
Because if you're not being last, a lot of them say, I'd rather go first.
True.
I definitely see the Sami Zayn being somewhere in the middle. That's match 3 or match 4, right? Because that's kind of like you guys, you've been here for about 2 hours or so. This is, you can go take your bathroom break, and for the people that are in the arena, you can go ahead and take your bathroom break and
this is intermission.
Back. Hey Chuck, how you doing, buddy?
Chuck.
The only other place I could see the Roman one going would be before the Gunther match.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I could definitely see that too. So, but Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross. Nice to see Karrion Kross getting some more, time. Finally getting on a PLE. What do you guys think?
I think, do any of us care? But I'm going with Sammy. Just because I feel like I don't know. I like Sammy better, but I don't really care about this match. To be honest,
I'm with Anthony. Don't care, but because Karrion won the last one, Sammy's going to win this one, so they got to go to a third one.
Yeah, with this one, I just don't get it. Like I don't know where it goes with anything.
I mean, this match is a Monday night match all the way.
You know, yeah. Or a Saturday night main event.
This I would consider a filler match. This is one of the filler matches I would consider.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yes, I agree. But I don't understand where it goes. So let's say Sammy does what Karrion wants, and Sammy says, "I'm a liar." Are they a tag team now?
That's what I think they're trying to get at.
I mean, I just don't.
Where Sammy finally just gives in and they become a mini faction of the three of them.
Yeah, I don't know what it does. I mean, I really don't. I'm trying to,
But who do you pick?
Out, but
who are you picking?
I think it's man. I'm gonna go with Zayn, but it wouldn't surprise me if they give it to Cross to kind of continue building him a little more. But I don't say the thing is, like I said, I don't know what you're building him for.
All right.
Now, the only thing I can think of is he did have that little run in with AJ Styles, right? So if he were to win, if Karrion were to win, if AJ were to win, it kind of brings up. But that's the only thing I could think of as to why you would have Karrion Cross win.
Right.
Because a win for Sammy doesn't do anything for him. It doesn't put him in any kind of spot.
He's already at a place in his career that he can go for any of those championships if he wanted to.
Well, that's true. That is definitely that is definitely true. Forgot about that whole contract thing with Karrion Cross. Yeah. Ooh, big boomers, man. Somebody's car alarm is going off. That's how big that thunder was by my house.
So I feel like this next match is one of the most predictable matches of the night because WWE never, ever in the history of ever makes somebody famous like Jelly Roll is.
Right.
Correct.
And the way I see this, Jelly Roll is going to pin Drew McIntyre because he stated, "I don't want to be pinned by Jelly Roll." That usually is an indication that that's who he's going to get pinned by.
Really? I thought he would pin Logan Paul. So I just thought, again, to me, this is another one of those, why?
Yeah, it is. This is a draw match to draw people in to watch and pay for tickets.
Yep, 100%.
Well, that's sad that they got, but again, like here we are, and we talk about it almost every single time. You have Jelly Roll, and then you look at some of the guys you have sitting at home.
Is it bad that I really want to see Jelly Roll hit a Swanton bomb?
No, it's not bad. It's
and he is trained to become a WWE person. So, I mean,
I just think it's, to me, it's, I don't know. I look at, I just look at these guys that are coming in, and I don't care how good, Logan Paul is, but again, you let him go ahead and, you let him jump the line or something, and Larkin makes a good point right there. What happens if something does happen with Jelly Roll? And, all of a sudden, bang, and he has to not be able to go ahead and go on tour and do all sorts of stuff or make music and everything.
Yeah.
It would have to be a very serious, though, for them to stop it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Career ending almost.
You need the fans to kind of stop buying into it is what you need. And we all know that that's probably not going to happen.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Logan Paul's career ending, and I don't wish that on anybody, but he's useless. He's a part-timer.
Yeah. But I agree. I mean, you look at all these guys that they bring in, their first ones. I mean, it happened with Bad Bunny, right? When Bad Bunny came in and he beat, Priest and stuff. So, yeah. I think that for sure too.
Logan brings up when McMahon tore his quads.
Yeah. But you know what? That's all it's going to take. And you figure a guy like Jelly Roll, I mean, I know this is bad to say in a way, but he's still getting used to basically a new body.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
He dropped like half his weight.
Right. He's lost like 200 pounds, I think, or something along those lines, or whatever the crazy
He's
number is.
Some pounds. And I mean, he's still got some decent weight on him. I could see if he hurt anybody, like you said, doing that swanton and missing and crushing Logan Paul's ribs. I mean, kind of would be funny, but still.
Not funny, ha.
No, just
funny is unironic.
Yes. Oops, I missed.
Yeah.
All right, Logan.
Yep.
Can't breathe.
Women's Tag Team Championship. We have Judgment Day against Bliss Flair. Flairful Bliss, Blissful Flair, whatever. I don't know. I don't think they're calling themselves.
No.
All I know is they're calling themselves that We're Not Friends.
I hate mismatched tag teams. Like, they're just annoying. Like, they're just like women that like get no shine at all, and they're like, "Hey, let's just put these two women that just are doing nothing together."
Yeah,
and give them a push and put them on like a major like pay-per-view against Judgment Day.
This is going to go to Bliss and Flair, and then Monday night they're going to have a rematch, lose, and then Flair and Bliss are going to get into it for whoever lost the match. Sorry.
So we got another vote for Bliss and Flair.
It's the Becky Lyra type deal, is all this is.
I mean, this would be a championship that I don't think Charlotte has won. I don't think she's been a tag team champion before. I may be wrong, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, I don't
Even though she is injured, and I know it would be very risky. Do we see Liv? She is from that part of New Jersey.
There's a possibility.
It would be cool if she like came out of the crowd and did something.
But does she?
She comes out of the crowd, does something that costs the match for the Judgment Day.
That's what I'm saying.
By accident, not on purpose.
She cost the Judgment Day.
That would be.
That's how I could see it, because with the whole tension that's going on with her and which one is it?
Roxanne.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The little one.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was interesting in this match, though. You have two tall chicks and then the two short ones going up.
Very true.
Yeah. I can totally see Flair and Bliss taking this one, only for the fact that I think they would be like transitional champions. Like you guys were saying, like maybe fight the next week and like break up or something crazy like that happen. So that's normally what happens with these two teams that like, you think of like any two guys that put together like John Cena and like whomever, or like Shawn Michaels or whomever, or like Randy Orton and whomever. It's like they never last.
No.
Yeah, remember when it was Cody and Jey Uso?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just the thing that gets me is with this is no one gives a crap about the women's tag team division because the WWE doesn't care about it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like I like what's the so if Bliss and Flair win, what are you doing? Are you bringing the Bellas back? I mean, are you looking at other tag teams out there? Are you promoting any of the tag teams from NXT? Which the last thing you need to do is promote more people from NXT to take more people off of TV.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you there. I mean, there has been talk of Brie coming back, so I mean, there is that possibility.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like to me, depending on the severity of Liv's injury, I think could play a part in this, where I think if she could come in and by accident cost Judgment Day to lose, which causes more of the riff. She could come like come there at ringside, and she sees how well Raquel and and Roxanne work together, and there's a jealousy there because now all of a sudden where up to this point Raquel's been kind of pushing Roxanne away, all of a sudden it's a big embrace and looking all happy and stuff like that. So
kind of like the Damian Priest Finn Balor when he was doing what he did and cost Damian the championship.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we have the Tribal Chief, Jey Uso, Mr. Yeet, against the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and the Dumbass, as he was called by Roman.
Come on, it's the Oracle.
Yeah, the Oracle. He went from an advocate to an Oracle. Well, he went from an advocate to a wise man
To an Oracle. Next time he'll be a unicorn.
Yeah. I don't see how Roman and Jay lose. I don't. But if you do have them win, is that doing anything? Is there anything negative? That happens, to the to the Braun, to Heyman's new stable type thing.
I agree with Chuck.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree with what Chuck is saying. There's probably going to be tons of interference in this match, especially with Heyman.
Possibly.
I'm with you. I think Roman and Jay got this one as well.
They got this one because what that's going to do, because quote unquote Seth is supposedly really badly injured, even though I think it's a play, it's a script thing, but it would, if they win, it would give them, okay, well, when Seth gets back, the three of us you're going to have to find another member to join you to do a 3-on-3 match somewhere down the road, the next PLE or whatever.
See, I'm thinking from Chuck makes a good point.
There will be
tons of interference, but where's the interference coming from? Are we just saying that they're just jumping in, or are there other people coming? Like if there is a third member of Heyman's thing that we don't know about, do we see Jimmy Uso come running down the aisle, running down the ramp?
It's a possibility because he does not have a match.
His wife is going to be there. You
could have Zilla. He's mentioned that he would team with Roman.
Yeah.
I mean, on the Braun side, like you said, I don't know that they have somebody we don't know about, or does Seth come out and say, hey, I'm not really injured and get involved. I think they're going to save him to do the cash-in, honestly.
See, to me, I think, you can't, no matter if it's a work. Now, there are some people who are saying that it is an injury, but it's not
as severe.
It's not as severe, and he needed some time off, so that they thought that the cash-in could come at, that could come at the Clash of Paris. From that standpoint, you can't have Seth come out because it ruins, his whole thing. Now, I don't, now, do you have him, come out on crutches with the massive leg brace? Do you have him come out just to the edge of the ramp in a wheelchair, and stuff like that as a distract?
That's like Diesel did, where it looks like a leg injury and then he stands up and it's just a fake cat standing there. So yeah, that's the way I could see him be at ringside even for it and just be like, you guys won, yay, or you guys lost, take me back.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
He might be wheeled out during the Gunther CM Punk match too, instead of this one. But yeah, I agree. There'll be interference.
Yep. Anthony, anything else?
No, I mean, my guess is like Heyman definitely is going to get involved in some way. I would love to see him get speared. That'd be kind of funny. But
I don't see him getting speared. Possibly a Superman punch, but not speared.
yeah, you're probably more accurate because he probably doesn't want to take a bump off the spear.
That'd be a lot bigger bump for taking a spear.
Yeah,
Or
Superman.
maybe a super kick. Possibly.
Tiffany against Jade.
Now, if we go off of the AI generator, Tiffany wins this.
Yeah, Tiffy time's not up yet.
I think Tiffy time might be up.
Is time finally up for Tiffy?
I think Cargill gets this one. But she's going to be one of those interim. It's not going to be a permanent thing on her. And this one could have the involvement of Nia Jax, for all I know.
Well, I think that's the one thing you have here. You have with you know, you have the potential of, you know, Nia at this point. You know, again, this is like another one of those, you know, not 100% sure, because you try and look at the future. That if you could, I think if you could have Jade win, and then it sets up a rematch at Clash of Paris. You know what I'm saying, for what's going on. So you can put these two in a little bit of a, you know, a 3-match thing, you know, per se.
You could, yeah.
You know, but I
mean,
mean
for the interference, you'd have Nia or Bianca for, you know, to get Tiffy the win.
Yeah. You know, that's what I'm saying. When you look at some of the other ladies that they have, you know, from that standpoint, you know, Dom makes a sense. Zero to put it on Jade. Belair can definitely go ahead and, you know, see, again, depending on what you want to do with Cargill,
right?
You know, the long-term thing with her. What would be better? Would you want to see, you know, Tiffy and Nia Jax? Because if you have Bianca come out and interfere to cost Jade, and you start a Bianca Jade thing, then you have to, you know, you have to figure out, all right, what am I doing with Tiffany now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know,
but it might be a Tiffy win here.
So
it can really go either way. It just depends on what they want to do with Jade, right. You know, because I think Tiffany's had a really good reign, you know, so like I could see that extending. But if you are going to transition to belt, SummerSlam's a good time to do it. You know what I mean? And you know, maybe they want to put it on Jade as a transitional champion too. Who knows? But
yeah,
I don't know.
She does have the unfinished business with Belair, so I mean that's a possibility too.
Yeah, like I said, you know, it's one of those things. I just don't know. You know, I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. I'm not. You know, I like the idea of Dom saying, you know, Belair on a heel turn. You know, that makes sense. I would like to see Belair replace B-Fab and be next to the Street Profits.
That would be pretty cool to see her go heel.
Type of thing.
Just start whipping everybody with the ponytail.
Yeah. And then we have what is probably the end of night one, Saturday. Gunther, the Ring General, against CM Punk. Anthony?
I think CM Punk's going to reestablish a straight edge society and win the belt.
I'm not going to go far as saying the straight edge society, but he's winning. But I feel Seth coming in and cashing in. Whether he wins it or not, it's going to be a cash in, I think.
So I'm assuming that Seth is not healthy enough to go ahead and do something as like a cash in and try and get the title. But I could see Seth doing something, and the something could be Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed coming down to interfere for CM Punk. You know, again, another one of those, he wheels out, you know, music hits, he wheels out, he's in the wheelchair, or he's on crutches, you know, and Reed and, you know, and Breaker go out there to distract, cause interference that stops CM Punk from winning. Because if it's going to be a cash-in, then he either has to cash in on Gunther after the match. Again, depending on what he, you know, now he may say, hey, you know what, I'm going to cash in. CM Punk won. You know, CM Punk is celebrating. Then, you know, his guys come out, beat the living crap out of him.
And then he gets up and cashes in.
And then he gets up and cashes in. But Larkin makes a great point. They're going to want Gunther to be a champ in Europe. Don't forget, that's where he came from. He was Walter in NXT Europe.
Yes, but we've also got to remember how WWE does things.
No,
When
I mean,
is Clash in Paris?
huh?
When is Clash in Paris?
August. WWE PLE schedule 2025.
It does make sense with Gunther being big in Europe, but then again, CM Punk's big everywhere.
Right.
Like in almost every country that likes wrestling, I'm pretty sure CM Punk's popular.
Clash in Paris is August 31st.
We got a whole month, so you could still have Punk win here, and then Gunther challenges him at Clash in Paris and beats him there. So now you have one win against each other.
That'd be interesting.
True. You can. I mean, yeah.
Because WWE seems to be big on 3 matches.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That would be a bigger pop there in Europe than him coming there with the belt already. Him winning it there.
True, because if you know, it would have, you know, because if Seth is injured, you know, then you're looking at, you know, if I think it would be my personal opinion. I think it's probably too early to put the belt on Breaker. I think it's my own personal opinion is I think it's too early, you know, for him. It throws that whole faction into a tizzy if all of a sudden Breaker is the guy who has the belt and not Seth.
Right.
You know, and because I don't think the WWE would do one of those like a bullshit cash in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm gonna cash in. I'm gonna give you a punch in the jaw. You go down and I cover you. You know, I mean that doesn't make, you know, like the old, you know, the finger of death that Hogan gave to Kevin Nash.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Poke of death, whatever they call that one.
Or like the old $1 million man, I'm gonna pay you to lay down.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think they go ahead and I think in some way, shape, or form, Gunther wins, and because of where he is right now, and just keep this momentum of going right now, he's the biggest heel in the company.
All right.
Like you don't really like people will think it's Seth and stuff, but you still hear a lot of people cheering on Seth.
Right.
You know, you don't really hear a lot of people cheering Gunther. To me, you know, so I think it would still be him.
Yeah, I see Punk winning this, and then they go to Clash, and if Seth doesn't cash in, they go to Clash in Paris, they fight each other again, and then Gunther wins, and maybe a cash in there on Gunther. Because according to what I'm reading, he's just getting his meniscus cleaned out, which isn't really that severe. You know, a month or 2 probably, maybe 3.
Yeah.
All right, let's see night 2. Give me one
I
second.
don't know. But I mean, the only thing that gets me with, you know, like with if Seth wasn't injured, I could see them maybe kind of sort of trying to do something. With Seth injured, if we're taking him for his word of I will not go ahead and let CM Punk ever win a championship. If CM Punk wins and Seth couldn't stop it from happening, I don't know. That kind of just, yeah, you know what I mean? Then we go to night 2, Sunday night. We come back. MetLife Arena at 6 o'clock. Our matches are Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio against AJ Styles. I mean, think about it. Every match is for a title on night 2. The men's tag team is a TLC. Tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my! Wyatt 6, DIY, Street Profits, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and Andrade and Phoenix. Steel cage match for the U.S. title of Solo and Jacob. A no DQ Women's Intercontinental Championship match of Becky versus Lyra. The Women's World Championship, the Triple Threat, Naomi, Io Sky, and Rhea. Then a street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship. The last real champion, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. John Cena's last match in SummerSlam ever. Any thoughts on an order you would go in?
I mean, Cena Rhodes is going to close it. I could see the women's triple threat opening it. Or the Intercontinental, actually, too. Either one of those would be a good opener.
I'm going way out there. Cena and them start it. And it ends with the Women's Championship.
Well, now you're just talking silly.
It's a hey, anything's possible, WWE.
What do you have in that orange juice that you were drinking?
I think the first one's going to be the Solo and Jacob is going to open the show.
I was thinking it was potentially going to be the TLC match.
That'd be cool.
Possible.
But the thing that gets me is those matches are typically longer matches. So would you start the night with a longer match, or would you put that, in the middle somewhere?
I think I'd put that in the middle, like 3 or 4.
Yeah. I think the women are going to open it. Now that I think about it, I don't think it'll be the women's, the triple threat first. Then I think they would go to Dom. Then I think they would do the steel cage. Then
this is outside walking.
Then Becky. Yep, it is all outside. Big open air. Whoa, look at that. Maddie is at the Natty.
My question is, what's the weather going to be like there on the weekend?
Supposed to be very, very nice.
But I say you do the solo match first. Actually, number 1 could be that Mysterio AJ match.
So Saturday, 78-63 sunny. Sunday, 82-66 with a little bit of clouds.
Okay, there's no rain. That's good.
No rain.
I would actually like to see it rain, and they do like steel cage matches and TLCs and like all kinds of
good thunderstorm rolls through, lightning all over the place. Do not put the ladder up. Do not put it up.
I mean, I think also the other thing you fear of some of these ones is when they, gets really sweaty, a lot of humidity, and the stuff gets the ropes get slippery and stuff. So. We'll see. So, Dom AJ, do they pull the belt off of Mysterio? John, you say yes?
I think so, yes. Is this kind of like I feel like an AJ final run type thing?
Yep, definitely locking.
Because he talks so much about retiring.
I could see that. Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I could really see it going either way. I mean, At some point, they're going to have to pull the belt off of Dom. So why not do it now? This would be a good time. And I think AJ Styles is a good transitional champion. Either that or maybe it's like a bounce back and forth type of thing like they like to do.
That's true. That could happen too.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I could see like one last feather in the cap, like John was saying. If he kind of wants to go out on top, this is a good belt to do that with, as opposed to like a world title.
Yeah, and then you have him go to TNA and lose.
I mean, if you're going to put somebody over in TNA, a guy like AJ Styles is good to do something like that. It'll mean more off him than it will off of Dom.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, to me, it's this whole the whole Judgment Day thing, the whole Judgment Day piece. Does do Finn and JD come down and cost Dom, the belt? I don't know. I mean, you look at what Dom is doing and everything. I mean, they had him go down to AAA in Mexico City, I think it was, and do some stuff down over there. I don't know. I mean, I could see them, going with AJ. To me, just because you could have a Karrion Kross angle if Kross does sign his contract and he does beat Sami Zayn. But I don't know. I mean, I could see either one, winning. Like, does AJ? Is this a match where I don't want to say AJ puts over Dom, but does AJ? I don't know. Show. Does AJ let Dom show how good of a wrestler he is? I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's good. I'm just talking out loud about that type of thing. I mean, I don't know.
There are possibilities there.
To me, this is a coin flip one.
And JD and Finn they're not in this, are they?
Nope.
Yeah, so they would keep their belts. I could see them taking all but their gold, since they're not in it, off of the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Just be a sweep, and then then they have their little tuffle that they have backstage. You lost yours, and we kept ours.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can definitely see,
the whole threat of the breakup, like for the third time.
That's just it. I mean, what are you doing here? I mean, obviously, I think the Liv thing hurt them. I think that would have definitely, I think Roxanne would have a very, very different of a role if Liv was not hurt.
Right.
I
don't know. I don't know what to say with this one. What's going to happen?
Tables, ladders, and chairs.
Oh my.
Oh my.
I'm going to go ahead and pick this one on behalf of the birthday boy. Let's go ahead and pick the Street Profits. Thank you, Big John. We appreciate you being here on your birthday.
I'm going to go with AI, and it's either DIY or forget who the other one was.
Street Profits. Yeah, I would like to see the Street Profits win. I don't understand what is going on. I'm not sure. Again, we've said it before. Chuck said it. Lawkins said it. I mean, a lot of people have said it. WWE, it just seems that more times than not, they don't know what the hell to do with these tag teams. And they don't care or anything, and who knows? Dom is saying Wyatt 6 retain.
I don't think the Wyatt 6 is over as good as Bray Wyatt was.
No, his brother is definitely not. His brother is definitely not equal to him. his brother is definitely Bo Dallas is definitely not close to Bray Wyatt.
You want to know the sad
For
part?
sure.
Regardless, whoever wins, they're not going to do anything with.
Right.
They literally crap on them belts.
They will keep this whole feud going between all of them.
Yeah.
That's all it's going to do.
I mean, do you make nice and put it on Fraxium for a month? Do you make nice and put it on Phoenix and Andrade? Like, who cares? Again, unfortunately, this is another one of those matches that who cares? Does it matter?
Yeah, just make nice, put it on a Lunger Blaze, throw it in the trash, and let's get on with our day.
That's right.
This is a match that could be first, though, very easily.
That's why I think, yeah. And to me, I could definitely see it being first. But
That almost makes sense.
But I don't know. To me, I could see that kind of being in between, in between the Dom and the Intercontinental, Intercontinental match. I don't know. It's yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. They're not doing anything with them. They definitely can't be using them the way I think they thought they were going to use them.
I mean, they have cool eyeshadow.
It doesn't make sense to have them have belts. They should be more of that menace team, right? They show up, they should be the ones that they should not be in a position where they don't need belts.
Right.
They're the menace. They're the menace to society.
I think they were hoping to build off of the original family, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, steel cage match. Gonna keep the what is it? The MFTs?
They'll all be under the ring or something.
Where are they gonna be? They could be underneath the ring. The cage drops down, and then all of a sudden they pop up in the cage.
I think I'm giving this one to Fatu, but there's going to be interference on both sides.
So people are going to get in the cage?
Either in or outside, one or the other, like outside trying to get in to help one another. And then, because I can see maybe JC comes out, and then you have, obviously, Jimmy come out if he doesn't come out during the night one event.
Yeah.
Could come out in both. I mean, it is possible, but I mean, there's even a possibility Roman Reigns gets involved, but I don't see that happening.
Hey, Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
Ryan?
No one ever gets in the steel cage. Hey, man.
Right. Right.
But, these.
I would not want to lay underneath that mat for as long as some of them do.
Oh, I know. But they do have a TV underneath there that they watch. They watch the program. They actually.
It's gotta be.
No, I know, but I'm saying they do. At least they do have a TV. They do have water in there. They've had a couple of wrestlers talk about it for guys who have had to hide underneath the ring, and they're like, "Yeah, there's usually another guy underneath there, who he's there like all the time." And they have a TV and they watch and they talk and they drink, water to stay hydrated and stuff.
Or your hornswoggle when you have a chicken underneath there with you.
Oh, that's true. I think Solo's going to retain. I don't think this feud is over. I'm not sure where they're going with it long term because, I mean, it's 4 against 1. I don't know how Jacob gets involved or how he gets enough help. But again, I don't know what they're doing with this whole, this other bloodline-ish type thing.
Yeah, because you kind of got like Fatu and Jimmy, and then you have Solo and his crew. And he's still, missing one more yet to come back?
Yeah, the other brother.
The Tonga twins.
Tongaloa.
Whatever it is.
Or Tonka Toy.
What she said.
That one dude is huge.
That's what she said, whatever
yeah.
thing is.
What do you think, Anthony?
I'm with you, Michael. I think Solo's going to win this one, but I think it's going to be like teasing Fatu, and then maybe by inches, Solo squeaks this out.
Yeah.
You know, it might be one of those things where they're both dropping at the same time, but like Solo falls first, or like
That's true.
something dumb like that. Either that, or maybe it's like one of them OG ones where they can go through the side door. If that's the case, maybe there's interference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tama is out. Tonga is back. Okay.
You got a point there, Dom.
Uh-oh. Batu doesn't need the belt with Minnesota. Yeah. Yeah. I like, yeah, I don't disagree with that.
If they did anything with Fatu, I'd like to see him join Roman and Jay. That would be an interesting setup.
It would be. Now this one,
or Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lyra, Becky. Becky's, your champion. This is a no disqualification. But if Lyra loses, she cannot go ahead and go for the IC title while Becky still has the belt.
Right. And if Lyra wins, is there a thing there too, isn't there? Like if Lyra wins, Becky has something going on?
No.
I can't remember. There's going to be a lot of interference in this one too. Becky's going to retain though.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't think. Although I will say this, Lyra has impressed me more, than I expected from her. I didn't expect as much from her as she has been. She's been a little better on the mic than I thought she would be. Number one, I think she's been better in the ring, and again, that might be just because I didn't see her a lot on NXT and stuff like that. So, so I don't, I didn't know maybe my expectations were low just because of lack of knowledge. So, but from that standpoint,
right.
I just don't see her as a champion.
Not right now, no.
And I think the belt, and in a way, I think it means something more if it's on Becky than it does on Lyra.
100%.
I mean, especially if there is plans for her to join Seth on that little squad.
Which would be cool.
I think it would be too.
Overall, Anthony, what do you think?
I think that it really could go either way, but I'm thinking Becky's going to retain here. This really has the potential to be one of the better matches of the night too, just because of I think that they're both going to be like trying to tear the house down. But yeah, I just think Becky has a little too much momentum right now, and it actually makes the belt mean a little more something whenever she has it.
Right.
And if she doesn't mind holding a mid-card title and helping elevate young people like like Lyra, it's kind of where I would put her right now. I think that's a good spot.
Do you feel this could be an opening match?
I don't see why not. I mean, this or the triple threat would be a pretty good opening match.
Yeah, Lockham, great point. I don't know how Stephanie and Julia are not on this. They're two of the best female wrestlers, young wrestlers that they just brought up.
Well, how would they put them on the card? You have to have Sami Zayn versus Killian Cross.
Yeah. I know,
right? and you have to have Jelly Roll. You know what I'm saying? You're 100% correct. I don't know.
Stephanie and Julia aren't the pool that your main characters get. That's what it comes down to. They're not going to pull the money in like these guys will.
No,
I know it sounds stupid, but maybe they need a couple days off. I don't know.
I think Stephanie would. I think Stephanie could pull in. I mean, her popularity and everything like that, but she's going for what? Doesn't she her win didn't her win mean she gets a title shot? I think at Clash of Paris again.
I think so.
Isn't she? No, she's Argentinian, right? She's from South America, right? Or is she from Portugal?
I don't know.
The
wrestlers are not the draw right now. The brand something very true.
They
Very,
are,
very true.
but Jelly Roll's is a draw. You can't say that he's not. Logan, I don't think is much of a draw, but
with Jelly Roll, who's he drawing?
he's drawing his crowd of music goers, probably.
Hits at Swanton, he's going to draw me.
Oh, she's from Chile. Triple threat. Champion Naomi against former champ Io Sky against former champ Rhea Ripley. And all I would say to Rhea and Io is proceed with caution.
Naomi's going to retain here, but it's going to be close. It's going to be one of those like last all the way to the end before it ends. It's not going to be a quick match.
Yeah, I don't see how they take the belt off of Naomi. I just don't. I mean, not after the cash in, right? I mean, it makes that cash in. It makes that cash in worthless.
Unless it's a transition. This is like the night of potential transitions, though. But I'm with you. I really think that she'll probably retain just because of that. I really want to see Rhea win, though, just because I like her the best. Selfishly.
But, Rhea, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Rhea is starting to enter that stage or that area where she doesn't need a title on her.
Right.
Sure.
I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve one, that she shouldn't have one.
She has time down the road to get it again.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like like you look at her and you do think of a long-term thing. Yeah, but I think the thing is this, look, you hate to go ahead and and come across the wrong way and stuff. The crowd loves Io. Does her mic work hurt her?
Probably.
A little bit, I think, yeah. Oh, look, Big John's in the chat, but he's too good to show up here.
I think part of the thing with Rhea is I think
Big John. I picked the Street Profits for you, brother.
Yeah, I think Naomi all day long. The character change, the heel turn, everything like that. I think she needs it. I think no Rhea. She has to get a little frustrated, and I don't know if she changes something up or something. I think, she's kind of sort of at that point where her gimmick, her character is, I don't know. It's not like, to me, it's not really doing much. I don't know.
Right.
But I can't when I look at this match and you really sit and you think about it, I find it hard to believe that they would take it off of Naomi, from that standpoint,
probably in her contract somewhere she has to hold the title for so many days.
Could be. I don't know what it does for Io and Rhea though,
because they still got their, they want to get back and forth with each other still.
Yeah, and I mean, but they've gone against each other four times already.
Not enough.
Well, it should be.
Need at least 2 more. Make it 6.
I mean, do all of a sudden does an Io Sky drop down and go for an IC title or a US title?
I think it'd be cool if they had more women going for the lower titles. Because look at the like the men, they'll go for IC titles. Like AJ Styles. It's like no problem with him going for a belt like that.
Right.
Or do they do the quick mashup? Rhea and Io go for the tag team.
Anything's possible. I don't know. I just don't.
So
Hey,
Blanchard,
Craig, what's happening? I just don't know. When I look at this one again, I think future. I look future, and I just wonder, in reality, what are they? What are they doing? You have Julia, you have Stephanie, right? You have Julia holding the U.S. title. You have Stephanie. You have Becky holding the IC title. And you have Stephanie in here. You have Bianca. Are you really going to keep Charlotte and Alexa as a tag team? Because there's two more single people there. You have Nia. You have, then you have Jade and Tiffany. You have Asuka too. They're going to keep they're going to keep, the Kabuki Warriors together again for what? They don't give a crap about the tag division. So you're gonna waste Asuka that way?
I think they already have.
That's true.
They waste most of what they have.
Otani just needed more. He just needed more pickle juice.
He needed some loving on his arm. That's all.
And then the match that will close the show, that will close it all up. The final time we will see John Cena wrestle at SummerSlam. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, a street fight. Anthony,
it's gonna be a good match.
Floor is yours.
I'm gonna give it to Cody. I think that this would be a good time for Cena to transition the belt and kind of end the championship phase of his final year. At some point, he's going to have to put somebody over, and Cody's one of the biggest, baby faces they have right now. So, it would just make sense. If it's not going to be Cody now, then it's who's it going to be? So to me, it just makes sense that it'd be Cody.
Because when you look at the schedule, right, of what they have right now, so I'm just going by whatever. I'm not saying they're adding anything or not. But when you look at it, SummerSlam, the next WWE one is Clash in Paris, which is August.
Yep.
You have Crown Jewel, which is October, coming in for the closer. The closer came in.
The GOAT.
Crown Jewel is typically, if they're going to do Crown Jewel the way they did last year, that's not title matches, right? It's tight. It would be if Gunther wins, whoever the two champions are, they fight and they wrestle for the ring, right? If they're keeping it the same. Then there's Survivor Series and their Saturday night's main event. I've been saying that for 25 years. Yeah.
Dom knows. He puts some respect on your name, John.
So I don't.
All right, so here's the thing. The Rock is rumored to be there this Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
It's going to be a double turn. Cody's going heel. John's going to go face. Cody's going to win. John's going to finish out his run as a face. Because John's going to be at this Friday's SmackDown, which is a given because it's, in Jersey or New York, wherever it's at. But that's what I'm seeing happening here. After seeing when they did the signing where Cody hit him with the belt finally, I think that's kind of a prelude to what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I've always said I don't really care what they do with him. I mean, I think I I don't think it went. I don't think this heel turn has gone the way WWE wanted it to go, but I think they committed to it, so they had to let it go. But the fans have wanted this for so long, and that's why it's not going the way they want it to. Like you can't. The guy goes heel when
It's too late.
right. The guy goes heel in April of when not April. When at Elimination Chamber, I guess it was right March. So the guy goes heel with 9 months left in his wrestling career.
Yeah,
knowing that he wasn't going to end that way. So I mean, I hope Cody. I mean, I'd like to see it happen that way. It would be very interesting to have two heel champions of Gunther and Cody. But do the fans are the fans okay? Will they are they wanting a heel Cody or are they not wanting a heel Cody?
I think a heel Cody is going to be more like a heel Seth Rollins. They're going to still sing his song when he comes out and all that stuff. But I think it's time for Cody to go heel.
So I think a heel Cody is a better presentation because everybody wants Homelander Cody. Because he's boring. I'm tired of seeing him cry as a face. Every promo is a cry fest. Like, I don't need that. I mean, I think he's losing. Right?
Cody?
Yeah. I think Cena beats him. He loses. And if The Rock's there, then that's when he takes Rock's off.
And
So
then he turns after the match is over.
Yeah, he can't settle with being defeated again, and then he turns and loses it. And then Friday he turns on everybody. That's the way I think it'll happen. I hope The Rock isn't there because just no need to see him.
There's not, but if he's the final boss, he's going to want to be there when Cody flips. And that you got a point, John. Cena could still hold the title and turn face. That is a good point.
Yeah. I think there's just there's still some good matchups. I want to see one fresh John Cena matchup before he retires. Belt or no belt. I want to see him face a Braun Breaker. See him face, Austin Theory. Not here to Austin Theory. But I just want to see a new opponent for him before he goes out and put that open.
Well, there is talk that he could go ahead against Gunther at the end.
Yeah.
Gunther could be his final match.
I don't want to see that one, though.
I want to see Gunther versus Obafemi. That's the matchup I want to see. I can't wait till that happens.
But I think his last match is probably gonna be a no-name like Grayson Waller or something.
God, I hope not.
There's an outside chance that his last match could somehow wind up being Edge.
Edge?
Yeah.
That's a possibility. You got a point there.
That'd be interesting.
His contract is up in October, but nobody knows how much if he has any injury time added to it.
Right.
So there's an outside 1% possibility because that's the person that should retire him anyway. Edge or Orton should retire him.
Or is there a outside possibility that his final match is against The Rock?
Better yet,
if it was something bigger than Saturday night's main event, I would say yes. I don't know.
I think The Miz would be a good final opponent for him too.
It would be.
They got good history.
because they're kind of John's on his way out. Miz, I don't think is going to be around much longer either.
You know, I mean, Miz does make a lot of sense. He does make a lot of sense from that standpoint.
Makeup plan out for WrestleMania 25 main event,
or maybe they bring back James Ellsworth.
Bring back Ryback.
Let's not say we didn't.
I don't know. I mean, I think what makes it so difficult or so to do is if you go ahead and you take the belt off of Cena at SummerSlam. I think they announced the rest of his schedule, didn't they?
Oh, I was looking at that to see. We know he's got the one this Friday, and he's got SummerSlam.
But I don't care about the weekly shows. I just find, you know, again, it's weird to me. Like, so you're gonna have him go to Clash in Paris, not as a champion. You're gonna have him go, you know, because you know they're gonna want to have him there.
I don't know. I don't see him on the sheet anywhere for it.
Well,
so I mean,
it would be. I'm not saying. I mean, that'd be very interesting. You would think they would want him there. You would think they would want him at Crown Jewel. But again, you're going to have him show up and you're going to want him at Survivor Series. But none of those as champion. Just as a John Cena match.
Okay, so he's on that poster, but it doesn't mean anything.
So I don't know. I mean, you know, I want to think that, I mean, I like John's idea of saying that, you know, we get the heel turn and stuff and something, you know, something happens. Like, I would like to see, to me, would be is you have that heel turn from Cody, but then you could at least build it up for a few months.
Yeah.
And then at Survivor Series, you could have Cody, Cena for the title, and then Cena could drop the belt there.
When is Survivor Series?
November.
Yeah. Well,
I could see that possibly, yeah.
So here's how, like, in my head, if I'm going with Buckhead, right? Cody, John Cena wins straight for the first time. He wins straight. After the match, he goes off. Rock comes out. Cody's in the ring, pouting, crying, or whatever. And the Rock just extends his hand. No words, just extends his hand, and Cody shakes it. And that's the announcement that he can't do it by himself. And then you have the art of what does this mean? You know, now you have to start on what does this mean? What is this Rock Cody thing going to look like? And you also slowly turn Cena back. Instead of it being a double turn, it's just a slow turn back. Right? Because now he's got to figure out, so y'all working together now? Are we working together? There's a lot of nuance that's not quick, but you can get weeks and weeks of television out of it.
That's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm just thinking.
He comes out the next week with his full-on entrance music,
and
then starts talking nice, and just as you progress, it gets better and better. And then he's like, you know what? I don't need The Rock anymore. And
Cody gets darker and darker and darker.
Yeah.
But I will say this: last time we were on together with Money in the Bank, I did say the Money in the Bank winner should be injured and go away for a while, didn't I? I don't know if Steph's injury is legit, but the fact that he's off TV, that cash in when it happens is going to be so much better.
It's going to be like the last time he did it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I think I just wonder from a WWE perspective, you know, again, if they go into Paris and they're going to Australia after this one, those are the next two, you know, big WWE. After this one, there's only 3 PLEs left. Clash in Paris, Crown Jewel, and Survivor Series. I don't consider Saturday night's main event a PLE.
No.
So there's only those 3 left. I just have a hard time believing that fans would be okay, if John Cena comes out and is fighting, I don't even know who. And like at that point, who? If you pull the belt off of him, what is there for him to do?
Well, he still has that issue with Solo.
Cena?
Yeah. You think about it, all he did was knock him off the top rope and a attitude adjustment into the table, so they technically still have some beef. If he loses the main title, he could go after that and go out losing that title instead of the actual championship.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, to me, I just look at it from a standpoint of, again, it would not surprise me if he lost. But a win with a turn, like you guys were saying, is something in that kind of sort of direction, and then Cody builds up by Cody showing up in Paris and interfering in, Cena's match, stuff like that, and then Cody shows up at Crown Jewel and does something like that, and then boom, San Diego, War Games, Survivor Series, you know what? We're having Cena against Cody Rhodes, for the title. And then that's when it goes ahead and happens. And then the following month, 2 weeks later, 2.5 weeks later, at Saturday night's PLE, which will probably be in Boston. I'm sorry, Saturday night's main event, which will probably be in the Boston area. John has his final match and goes away then. I don't know.
And there's that possibility.
I
just hope they don't put Reigns as his final match. I think that would suck. Him and Reigns did not have really good matches.
No, they have good might.
Yeah.
I think Reigns owes him one on the mic, not in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about who his final match could be against. The only one I heard the rumor that it could be Gunther, but again, that's one of those ones where is it gonna be like a Goldberg type thing where he's gonna go for a title?
Gunther doesn't need a title.
Who?
Gunther doesn't need a title.
No. I'm saying Cena.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't want the title on Gunther at all. Like if you're not gonna make him beat people up in the ring all the time, he don't need a title right now. He's in that same area with like Rhea and Charlotte. Like we've seen you with a title enough. Like I was hoping with the Jey Uso, like he said he's gonna make him suffer for weeks leading to WrestleMania, and he just beat up Jimmy one time real bad. Like,
yeah.
I want to see him slapping people in the chest and making a chest red. Have him quote unquote start go on and like start entering people where people don't want to challenge him.
Have them looking like have their chest looking like chop meat.
Right. You have Braun spearing everybody through stuff every week to make him look good. Like somebody come and fight and Gunther chest should be red and have wealth.
Yeah.
And where people like, I don't really want to fight this guy. When people turn into old school Miz when they got to fight him, I'd rather not.
Okay, this is off subject, John, since you weren't here early on. Your thoughts on Hogan?
Fuck him. I don't really care. Like, from from a wrestling standpoint, my grandma we grew up watching Hogan, NWO, Hogan, best heel turn ever, great for the business, but as far as the person, fuck him. As simple as that. Like I understand separating the two. You can separate the two if people like them, but fine by me. I don't really care. That's your own personal opinion of them. Sad that somebody lost their life, of course. He's a human being. So definitely sad somebody lost their life. Have empathy for the family. But I'm not going to act like the last 10, 15 years I cared about Hogan in any way, shape, or form. After the word things that he said about the guy that his daughter was dating. So that's just that is the most fairest and nuanced way I can say that, right? If people are forgiving him for it, fine. That is totally your thing. People don't care for what he said, fine. You don't like what he said, that's fine too. Wherever you are at in the spectrum, I won't take away from what he did for the wrestling business. I won't take a fan that I was never a WrestleMania, Hulkamania. NWO Hogan, I love, right? Yeah. But hey, great for what you did great for the good things you did for the business. Because let's not act like Hogan and his ego and him and the clique didn't ruin a financial part of wrestling too. They didn't run WCW into the ground, chasing getting all the money. They didn't make everybody into NWO because they didn't want to fight them. So the good things that he did for the business, great for it. Grateful for it. Thank you for giving this product. But I enjoy wrestling. And you made so many people want to be wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
So great for that. But personally, as a person, listen, I feel bad for the people that love him that he's gone. I'm bad for I feel like that about just about anybody who passes, right? Regardless of who and what they does, a loss of a life is a loss of a life. And
I gotta say, very, very well said, John. Very well said. True. You weren't using political views like people are doing, and it's your God's honest opinion.
Yeah, political views are political views. Everybody's not going to agree on political things. It's fine. Right. You have your opinion. You have the right to vote for the way you want to vote.
Yeah. Right. And you split them up. You gave actual Hogan the credit for doing what he did for the business.
Yeah.
And didn't like the personal side, and that's cool.
Yeah. So
do you think
I was at Huddle show at the beginning? If you like Hogan, great. No judgment. No. Yeah. I don't care either way. If you liked him, if you didn't like him, for the wrestlers who wanted to be on the stage, great. For the wrestlers who didn't want to be on stage, great. Some people can't separate both. Some people didn't like him professionally,
right?
Or personally.
Very true.
Right, but I think when we're reflecting on his life, and ever say the great things he did for the business, we're not mentioning all the bad contracts that he calls with the guaranteed money and make sure he gets the most paid and the credit control. Like him, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Eric Bischoff. Well, I'm gonna say Scott Hall out because you can't ever make me hate Scott Hall. Scott Hall was on the block with chains and a preacher shirt with no security. That's my boy. But
I mean, I think he was one where he was one of those guys when it came to the business side of it, should have stayed a wrestler. Hello, Irene. Have creative, have creative control, creative or input, on his character and stuff like that. But I think this is another one of those things where it shows you that just because you were, he never should have been in charge at the level he was at while he was still actively wrestling.
Right.
We don't act
you know what I'm saying? Like you look at Triple H, right? Triple H kind of he had that separation and got a lot more involved in stuff after he retired. Hogan, I think, you look at where Triple H is today. Hogan was at that point while he was still in and active in the ring wrestler with WCW, and I think it did go ahead, and look, it did obviously cost them in the long run.
It cost TNA.
Yeah.
And TNA had momentum.
True.
And he went to TNA and he killed all their momentum. Right? He killed all their momentum.
So, here's a question to the three of you. Do you think they do anything for him at SummerSlam?
I doubt it. Because they did some of them. They do normally. They do something at the next show afterwards and then keep pushing.
Yeah. Maybe they play the video package in the arena and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
You may get a video package. They've done it at times, but you don't get much more than that. I think you're going to get.
I don't think he gets a 10 bell or anything like that. I think
I'm thinking maybe his picture on the screen, and they maybe have a moment of silence. No 10 bell, but a moment of silence, and then do like a vignette of it.
They may do another video of it.
Yeah.
But I can see them doing that, like 5:45, right? We're starting at 6 o'clock. As the crowd is, getting settled into their seats and stuff for the opening match, they throw, they can play in the arena, in the stadium, what they did with SmackDown, the same thing, like the Triple H piece, play that montage with his voice. That's really the only thing I can see them doing. I don't know how much else they would do, from that standpoint. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting weekend.
Here's a good way to end it all. So since Ric Flair outlived them, should we start drinking and instead of eating our vitamins and working out?
Yeah, true, yeah. Become jet riding, kiss stealing son of a guns,
and
go ahead and last for a long time. Yeah,
he may have been on to something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's next on the chopping block, but
I mean, now in a not morbid way, but if you are a fan of Ric Flair and you saw the way he looked, if you don't have a Ric Flair autograph and you want a Ric Flair autograph, now would be the time to go ahead and get it, because if something happens, it's gonna skyrocket. It's sad, but
it's true.
That's
if you look at the interview he did with TMZ, he looked terrible.
Yeah, he looks like he don't have that much to go. I mean, I don't have a Ric Flair autograph in my collection, and I'm gonna go out there and look. I don't know if I'll get it on a card or a picture, but I mean, I would like to go ahead and have one, beforehand.
He signs a lot. That's the thing about Hogan. Hogan signed a lot.
He did,
but it didn't stop his stuff from going on.
Yeah, you look
like that NWO picture that I showed last week. It was between that one when we were at the National last year. It was between that one and the Hogan with the flag over his shoulder. They had both of those. They were the exact same price. And that picture that I saw, JSA certified the way that one is, was more than double on eBay the day he passed away.
Well, all his stuff right now is roughly about $300 to $400 to $500, depending on what you're getting.
Yeah. We'll see. We will see. Well, everybody, hey, thanks for hanging out with us. Enjoy the show. I hope it's everything you want it to go ahead and be, whether you're watching alone, whether you're watching with a bunch of people. Enjoy. Remember, it's all about fun and everything. And, Maybe we got, a couple of these right. Maybe we got a couple of them wrong. Doesn't make a difference. We had fun doing it, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot. Any last words, Johnny?
We doing a recap next Wednesday?
I don't know, because I may have a baseball guy coming on. I have to firm up with him.
Okay.
Anthony, what do you have going on? You have some big stuff happening in the next couple of days.
Yeah, so we're going to be dropping a brand new podcast every single week. It's cross-platform between here and my channel over on Pittsburgh. We're talking about the NFL season, and Michael and I are battling AIs, and we could use some help. So if you guys want to tune in, we're going to be doing that Tuesday evening. So,
and you're heading to the National, right?
Yes, I'm going to be heading there in the morning, and then I'll be heading out to Gen Con this weekend.
Gen Con.
Enjoy.
Big John, what do you got going on, man? You have your podcast.
My podcast every Tuesday with FD, rolling with FD. What's the play? I want to get with you about Dibbed It, so we can get a stream going together for that.
Definitely, sir.
Cards.
You got a birthday party coming up anytime soon?
Man, when it's your
every
birthday,
time you see me, I'm saying it's my birthday.
Look. When it's your
hang out with
birthday
y'all is
every
always a good
day,
time. It's always a party.
it's just a party every day when you're Big John.
I see that.
But thanks a lot, everybody. Enjoy. Have a great one. We'll see you next week.